Good morning and welcome to Dissecting Your Parts. It might not be morning when you see this, but just understand that this is my morning voice. So, we are getting into the three main parts of being a human or this human spiritual experience that we are all going through together. So, let's get into part one, breaking this down. I found this photo, which is a good representation of what we're about to discuss. It's overlay it. We are triple layered beings. So our energy, the consciousness that is in us, that is keeping us apart, is the ego. I mean, not apart, but keeping us together, keeping all of the parts connected, so to speak, is the ego. So the energy from your soul, which is actually um, your lower self, and your spirit, which is a representation of your higher self, are both funneling through your ego, your identity, the character that you are right now playing. So those are the three main pieces we're about to get into today. So ego. Your ego is the human that you are inside of right now. The character, the identity that you are connected to in this moment. Is keep in mind, you have a new ego every time you enter a different body as you continue to try to evolve yourself. So right now, everything in your experience, the compilation of your experiences, everything that you've been told, everything that you've learned since childhood, your relationship with your parents, schoolmates, all that sort of stuff are literally just your ego. They're connected to this experience. And for that reason, you are constantly evolving. You're constantly weeding out what is actually not you, what bad behavior you have learned from other people, what good behavior you have learned. But your ego is a temporary um, part of yourself. It is the part of you that thinks is in charge. It's the part of you that gets offended when somebody triggers something in you that's unhealed. It's who you think you are pretty much. So you'll notice in spirituality, a lot of this stuff is about overcoming your ego. And that's because if you were like in a movie uh, doing your lines right and somebody said something in the lines that offended your character, would you actually be offended as the actor? No, you would have no attachment to that experience because you know that character is not you. It's just the suit that you have on. It's the role you're playing at the moment. And that's sort of what mindfulness and observance is when it comes to separation from your ego. You understand this is who I am. These are my skills. This is what I'm doing. But understand that I am constantly growing because I am learning through this experience. So that is the ego portion of this. So all the other areas I'm about to talk to you about are things that funnel through your ego. So your spirit, we're going to start above. I know you hear a lot, as above, so below. That's really what this is. So your higher self is huge, first and foremost. It is connected to the universe, to the all. There is no separation, but it's jumbo. When you want to try an experience such as Earth or Mars or any of these other planets where you sort of go on vacation, that's a really an easy way to think about it. When you decide to go on vacation, you take a small piece of this light ether, which is what this is, your spirit. This part of you has never been through any distress or any of that stuff. This is the main overhead. If you were playing a VR game, right? This would be the character that had the headset on. This is the part of you that wants to go and explore. So it breaks off, fragments a piece of itself to become your consciousness, to become the piece of light, the piece of your soul that is in your body right now that is guiding you. So when this part breaks off and is attached to you and essentially streaming you information, this is your conscious, this is your Gemini cricket. Um, your higher self, the intuition, the part of you that knows all and sees all because it's looking from outside the game. You know, like when you're playing Mario and your homeboy's losing, so you yell at him. Yeah, that's this. Your intuition is there to always keep you on the path that you have decided before you got here, to remember your goals and all that. That's why meditation is so important for you to connect back to that voice, because you have this other voice, which is the part we're about to get into, that is actually rarely known as your lower self. So everybody is really like into their soul, but what we have all sort of been closed off to is the fact that your soul is actually your lower self. This is connected to your karmic debt. Your soul is actually only created when you come down here and you gain some burdens or some karma for yourself. This is the part of you that has weight added onto it. Um, any pain, any trauma, any hurt that you have collected during any of your lives here sits in your soul. Your soul resides in your lower self. If you haven't seen the movie Us, totally do that, because that is a representation of this concept, that there is a tethered part of you that takes all the L's, that sits in the back, and you don't even know this part is still streaming you like doubts and fears and all those things that never got cleared from this life and the others. This is sort of the thing that gets triggered when your ego gets hurt, and it pulls up all these feelings out of the soul. So the soul, the lower self, is meant to be honored and integrated. You dig through it, you find out what you're made of, so to speak, with this going on here. But this is essentially not who you are either. And this is actually a part of you that you can absorb back into yourself and just take the lessons from. Um, the soul has burdens, the spirit does not. The soul is made of density. The spirit is made of just like love and light positivity. The soul is where you have to do shadow work. And keep in mind, it's shadow work for past and present, right? Um, a process, unless you are able to get to the point where you maintain a sort of existence that is integration. This means that you are aware of your higher self, you trust your intuition, but you're aware of your lower self and the feelings that it has, and you may honor those feelings, but you do not allow them to make your ego spin out of your trauma. You do not project your feelings, your triggers onto other people. And that's a whole nother video that we're going to get into next week with projection and understanding the process of dealing with your feelings or dealing with your human, so to speak. But integration is the process of pulling all of your parts together and accepting that you are a wide range of emotions and experiences guided by your intuition on the journey to further evolve yourself. So this week's assignment for those people who are students, I know I'm going to add this video for just people to learn in general, but this week's assignment I'm going to make for everybody, just try this for yourself. Keep a log, a trigger log, if you will. Anytime you feel a positive reaction that really gets you excited, that lights you up, write a tally mark and then write down what that thing was so you can have a reference. But anytime the same thing happens and you're like clicking down and somebody triggers you, you're uncomfortable, there's a feeling you can't get rid of, right? Like tally that trigger separately and write down what that was. And at the end of the week, you'll have a full reference of how many times your power has been bounced through the week, or you more triggered negatively than positively. It'll just give you a really good system of gauging how in touch you are with your parts. So we'll have a discussion. I actually would like for us to all do a video and talk together, for us to go over sort of our revelations after 1 week of tallying and tracking our triggers in this process. So thank you guys.